My stepdad needed a kidney. I was the only match in the whole family. And I told him no. I'm 27. He's 56. He came into my life when I was in high school. And he didn't try too hard, you know? He didn't try to be my dad. He just kind of stuck around. Showed up to my games. Drove me to stuff. Asked how my day was and actually waited for the answer. When Mom married him, he sat me down. Told me he'd handle college, tuition, living costs, all of it. And he did. Every cent. For 4 years. So when his kidneys started failing, I felt it in my stomach. Because I knew where this was going. His brothers got tested first. Not compatible. His sister. Not compatible. His cousins. Nope. And then my mom looked at me. She said, "Just get tested. Just see." I'll be honest with you, the whole drive to the hospital I was praying. Praying for it to come back negative. I love him. I do. But I'd been reading about the surgery, recovery time, complications, the fact that you live with one kidney for the rest of your life. And the rest of your life is a long time when you're 27. The results came back the next week. I opened the email in my car in the parking lot. Compatible. Highly compatible, actually. I just sat there for like 20 minutes. I called my mom that night, told her the results. And then I said something very specific. I said, "Mom, please don't tell anyone yet. I need a few days to think. Please, just a few days." She said, "Yes. Of course, honey, take your time." I woke up the next morning to 43 messages from aunts, from uncles, from cousins I haven't seen in years. "Thank you so much. You're a hero. He's so lucky to have a son like you." I read every one of them sitting on the edge of my bed. And I just felt the room close in on me. Because the decision wasn't mine anymore. It had already been made for me. Overnight. And that's when I knew I had to say no. Not because I didn't love him, but because the moment they took the choice away from me, I needed it back. I went over to the house that evening. Mom was in the kitchen. Stepdad was on the couch. I told both of them at the same time. I said, "I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. I can't." My mom went completely still. But my stepdad, he just looked at me. And he said, "I understand." Just that. I understand. No guilt trip, no anger. He just put his hand on my shoulder for a second and went back to watching TV. And I almost broke right there. Because that response was harder than anything my mom could have screamed. Which, by the way, came about 10 seconds later. She followed me out to the driveway, started yelling, called me ungrateful, called me selfish, said if it wasn't for him, we'd have been on the streets. And the thing is, she's right about that part. We probably would have been. But that's the trap. If gratitude can be cashed in for an organ, it isn't gratitude. It's a loan with a really long payment plan. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing for 2 days. Aunt who never came to my birthdays suddenly has opinions. Cousin who blocked me on Instagram 3 years ago now wants to talk. Everybody wants to weigh in on my body. Not one of them got tested themselves, by the way, not one. I started noticing something weird in the middle of all this. I'd post something on my story just to vent a little, and I'd see the same names checking it every single time. People I haven't spoken to in years, watching every story, visiting my profile every day. Never liking, never commenting, just watching. I got curious about who was actually paying attention, so I started using this thing called Synapse AI. It shows you which followers actually come back to your profile, who's engaging, who's just scrolling past. Links in the description if you want to look. Anyway, back to the kidney thing. It's been 4 days since I said no. My mom hasn't called me. My stepdad has called me twice. Both times just to ask how I'm doing, like he's checking on me. While he's the one with failing kidneys. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I might still change my mind. I have time. But every time I get close, I think about the 43 messages. And the way they made me feel like I wasn't a person anymore. Just a kidney with legs. If you've been through something like this, I'd want to hear it. Because right now, I genuinely don't know if I'm the bad guy or not.